So yeah, my name is Sapir. I'm 32 years old. By the way, if you're wondering what my name means in Hebrew, it's Sapphire, the gemstone. And again, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and what led me to this day. So I was born in a tiny little city called Kiryat Bialik, next to Haifa. And up until I was 6 years old, everything was very normal. My childhood was like any other kid. But some random day, my dad came and said, Sapir, you know how much we love the community, right? And you know how much it's important for us to give. And your mom and I want to move and live in a youth village. And you are going to be sharing us and your house with 13 other kids. I thought he's hallucinating. I didn't know what he's talking about. But, and I could tell you as a kid and 6 years old to come and see this huge gate in front of me. And first of all, I've never seen a gated community before, so that was one thing that was new to me. But then once we passed the gate, I could see kids just running around, playground. I think in this picture, yeah, that was the playground. And when you're a kid, this one looks giant, but now it kind of looks small. So anyway, in this youth village, there are around 500 kids who, for fortunate reasons, their parents cannot raise them. Either drugs involved, either interfaith marriage between Muslims and Israelis, and neither of the sides want to raise the kid. And so both of my parents worked as home guides, which means that we had a tiny little house, and I lived with my parents in that house, but one door, I mean, it had two doors. One door led me in and out without any problems. The other door led me to 13 other kids, which most of the day my parents were there. They kind of said, okay, you're fine. We don't need to worry about you. But that was a life-changing experience, because I remember that you know how Jewish mom, when you not finish your plate, they're like, finish eating from your plate, because there are hungry kids in Africa. And you feel bad about the kids in Africa. But I think you would feel even way worse if you had seen the kids in Africa, right? Because then it made an impact. And so to me, hearing about how important that it is to help the community and be part of the community and advocate for education was one thing to hear about it, rather to actually see those kids on a daily basis. And whenever I didn't want to, you know, something wasn't fitting me anymore in my clothing, it was very easy for me to just let go, because I knew that the ones in need are actually living with me. And they were my brothers and sisters in every possible way. And I love them till this very day. And two of the 13 came actually for my wedding. So that was a very exciting moment for me. And I think we can go to the next slide. But this is how the youth village kind of looks like. There were 15 families. So besides my parents, other 14 couples who took upon themselves to raise 13 other kids. So I'm sorry, I was so ugly this age, but this is me in the corner. This is my Yemenite dad, Benny, the love of my life. This is again me. And so there were a lot of activities in the youth village. The translation for Pnimiyah in Hebrew, it's a boarding school. But I think boarding school sounds kind of shiny, and it wasn't the case. More of an orphan, yeah, place. So yeah, I had the best childhood I could possibly ask for. I wish I can have my kids grow up in the same place, like I have once. And yeah, it taught me firsthand, it taught me compassion, it taught me how to be considerate of other people. I think this is the essence of what being Jewish is. And I'm so proud that I got to grow up this way. And yeah, so we lived there about 12 years. Eventually, it was a bit harder on my parents to keep on doing this work. The salary is not really, how do you say it? Yes. It's a really hard work emotionally, physically. Sometimes imagine how it is like to spend 24 hours. I mean, my dad did want to have boys. He just didn't imagine he will get 13. So that was an experience I'll never forget. And after we moved from the youth village, I was a teenager. I went to school, then I finished school. I enlisted the army. I served in the Israeli Navy in Haifa. I didn't really have a very interesting role. I was kind of in like the garage shop of the submarines. So every little piece that needed to be fixed, I was the one. Really, very not interesting, but important. Because when it's 3 a.m. and you get a phone call and you need to come quickly and provide this part, because if they don't have this part, they cannot now ship between Israel to wherever they are going, it's crucial. So I learned firsthand what means to be a cog in the machine, but how important that cog is for the machine. So that was my army experience for 2 years. And when I released, I went on my big trip, like every other Israeli. I traveled all South and North America, and for 6 months. When I came back, I said that I want to go back to education. I want to go back to what I know best, and it is how to help the others, how to help the community. And I went to study to be an English teacher for 4 years. I don't know if you know that, but funny fact, in Israel, when you learn to be an English teacher, there is an obsession about grammar. I don't know why, because the kids certainly don't care. And yeah, they really don't care. And it's really hard because whenever they ask, why do you put ing, or why is it es only for he, she, and it? And you need to come up with so many excuses for it to make sense. So yeah, I studied for 4 years. Then I went to the toughest area you could ever imagine and the toughest age. So I went to be an English teacher in a junior high school in South Tel Aviv, which means a lot of kids of immigrants, a lot of, it's a neighborhood in distress. It wasn't simple. I gotta tell you. 2 weeks after I started my role, one of the kids decided that the lesson is not very interesting for him, so he just decided to flip a table on me. And as you can see, I'm very short, so it wasn't very fun. And I had to deal with a lot. And I think it made me stronger. I'm pretty sure it made me stronger. And, you know, I was there for 3 years. You might say I got used to it, but then October 7th happened, and my husband was called up to Miluim, to reserve duty, and I had to figure out how to teach a class where my head wasn't really in the classroom. And I think it was the roughest time in my life. Yeah. No matter how much time will pass, it's still very hard to talk about it. I'm not gonna get into much details unless otherwise, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me about that. But I think that the world on October 7th looked very pro-Israel. All the channels, all the media was about the attack, and everybody was so interested. But what happened on October 8th, I have no idea. I mean, it was just a flood of horrible content, of maybe Israel just came up with this, it never happened. And I mean, it was just chaotic. We as Israelis, I think until this very day, it's hard to perceive what happened. So to think that this transition was happening so fast, it was really hard to perceive. And then I remember my kids, and kids today, TikTok, Instagram, this is the most common hand gesture they could do, or this with your thumb. So this is all that they do, and they keep seeing videos online of people that normally speaks in English, and they say all these horrible things about Israel, and they come to me and say, wait, why are you teaching us a language of people who hate us? We don't wanna communicate with them because they don't wanna communicate with us. And then I figure out that the problem is way bigger than I thought. And I said, you know what? First, I'm pretty sure it's not like that. I know that it seems like that, but how can I even start to explain to them, there's an algorithm and TikTok is owned by China and everybody knows what is the relationship between China and the States, and Israel is an ally. I mean, they don't care. They just scroll and they get all this content and they feel terrible. And so I told them, you know what, once I'll have the opportunity to go out, to go abroad and see how people actually feel like, and when I say that I'm from Israel, what is their response, I promise you that I will let you know. And so every time I'm walking with my dog, okay, wait, I'm a bit far ahead. Anyway, I was scrolling as well. And one morning, I saw a call from the Jewish Agency for Israel looking for educators to come abroad and talk about Israel. And I said, okay, God, are you trying to speak with me? Because I feel like this is the case. And I said, okay, I'm gonna try out, I'm gonna do my best, and let's see, how it is going to unfold. And luckily, I was able to pass all the screening process, and then I got the first offer to come to the States, and they offered me to come to New Jersey. And from Tel Aviv to New Jersey, I don't know how to tell you, but we're not built for this weather. Let's start with this weather. So yeah, I was panicking. I was like, wait, how? I've never seen snow in my life. How are we going to be dealing with that? That was the first question. Then I opened the news, and honestly, I let that affect me. And the protesters in New Jersey didn't seem really nice. So, it was a mutual decision. And my husband said, okay, we're not going there. And okay, we're not going there. So I waited 6 more months. And I didn't really know if I'm going to get a second offer, but luckily I did get. And they called me and they said, okay, you know what? We have a spot open in Arizona. And you know what? I think Israelis in the movies, the only thing we know is Phoenix, Arizona, and cactus. This is the association. We don't have anything in mind. And Wild West, this is what I had in mind. And the weather is kind of nice for us.
Like Israel.
Yeah, like Israel, like Be'er Sheva or Mitzpe Ramon. And we thought, what can possibly go wrong? So we went on a plane with our dog, and yeah, we brought him from Israel. We got here a year ago and 2 months, and everybody keeps asking me, wait, so what do you think about Arizona? What do you think about our community? And I cannot say enough how I think that the warmth of the people is like the warmth of the weather. And I feel so, so lucky to be here, especially today with you. Be'emet. Be'emet means for real. And some words you can just like, it's harder to translate. Yeah, and since I got here, I got to work with all ages. I got to work with so many people that went straight into my heart, and I think will never go out. And yeah, I'm focusing on Jewish joy because we don't get enough of it. And if you have any questions, I would love to answer. And feel free, please, to ask me anything.
Thank you. I'm gonna walk around the mic so it'll be easier for most of you.
What's your husband's name?
Tal.
Nice name.
Thank
And
you.
what does he do
Tal.
these days when you're working
My
here?
granddaughter's name.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. What is my husband doing?
Yes.
So my husband is working. I feel almost embarrassed to say that. I don't really know what he does. You know, he's very smart, and he does fintech, which means financial and high tech together. But every time I try to explain what he's doing, he gets upset and he said, "This is not what I'm doing. Stop talking." So
Another modification. What kind of dog do you?
oh my God, I have the best dog ever.
No, just dog we have. Miniature poodle.
Oh, okay.
Named Arthur. And who do you have?
I have Pablo, which I know it's an interesting choice of name. I didn't name him. Sfaradi legamre. He's a border collie.
Oh,
He has an energy that can pull all of you together from your bed in the morning. He's supposed to be herding sheep.
yes.
So as you can see, I am the sheep. Yeah.
Children have to work the chips.
I know. I know.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
How is it company?
Sure.
Yes.
No, order the mic. Hey, go get you.
No, I want to hear.
On the front row seat. I talk all the time.
It's okay. Me too.
Thanks so much. Wonderful presentation. My question is, the youth village that you grew up in, are they still strong? How many are there? And is there more of a need now for these youth villages?
So luckily, I would say that the youth village my parents used to work still exists. It's called Ahava, by the way. Ahava means love. And it still exists these days. The need is the same need. Unfortunately, the need only went and got higher and higher. More kids need a place to live. More kids are now orphaned because of October 7th and because of the war. And I think that this youth village particularly got a lot of donations from Germany. And we were lucky that the kids were able, throughout my time there, they had a lot of programming, either going to this amusement parks in Israel, going to the Dead Sea. Yeah, but imagine what it is like when the war with Lebanon was going. They needed to evacuate it, 500 kids. And this is just a chaotic, thing to experience. But luckily, they had a place in Kfar Saba, and all of the kids went from Kiryat Bialik to Kfar Saba, which is in the center of Israel.
Any questions? You have a question?
She had a question.
All right, everything else.
We have a son, 7, soon 8 grandkids, 8, 5. So we very closely followed what's going on. And on October 7th and 8th, I had complete confidence in the Israeli military. My concern, and I think it's one that I was concerned about the ER1. And I don't think Israel has been really very effective in the ER war, and I'm wondering if you have any comments to it.
Thank you for your question. Yeah, I would say that for sure, we lost the PR war. We lost it so bad. And hopefully more people will start and making videos, and hopefully, so TikTok, I don't know if you know that, but TikTok is one of the largest social media platforms. And recently, a Jewish millionaire or billionaire, I'm not pretty sure, but billionaire, Larry Ellison bought it, which is a great news for our generation, but also the next generation. So hopefully things will start changing, because he already took actions against anti-Semitism content, which is really good. And yeah, and regarding the army, so the thing is that I think that a lot of people don't have the concept of how different the government is in Israel and the people. So I would say the army is kind of related to the people. And first-hand experience, my husband is a reserve soldier. He was a paratrooper. He got called on October 7th, 5 p.m. Nobody really told us where, when, you know, he just packed a bag and went south. And I think we still have a lot of remaining questions regarding that day, because as you know, average people, I thought that we have the greatest army in the world, and I still think that we have the greatest army in the world. I just think that the breakdown of the communication is what caused it. Because, you know, soldiers have commanders, and when your commander tells you where to be, or to go home, or to be there, or to protect those kind of people, so you don't really get to say anything, you just do. And so unfortunately, a big part of the army that day was doing you know, personal security in some places. And I think the others just weren't prepared. I mean, we got the message of you're secured, Hamas is eliminated for so many years. They just practice, you know. And post-October 7th, we found out together. I mean, that morning, we just found out together that the thing could not be farther away from the truth. Unfortunately, we had to find it in this awful morning.
Not a question, just want to say that we're the one voice.
Thank you so much. You want my mic? Oh, I'm so sorry.
What is the national's feeling towards that night? Because it's not very good here.
Another excellent question. So I'm allowing myself to speak on my behalf, you know.
It's good to say.
I'm not here from the government, and I'm not representing anyone else, just speaking on my behalf. And I would say that 2 years before October 7th, the protesters on the street were for a justified reason, in my opinion. I was one of them. I was one of the protesters. And I didn't want the legal system to lose its power. I really didn't want it. And post-October 7th, it almost feel like, was it a good decision? I mean, I still think it was it's not, I don't want it to happen, but I think that what it caused to our people, this is way worse than if the decision was actually made. You know what I mean? The division of our people before October 7th was something awful, was something that it's so hard to repair. And I think people still carry those feelings towards Netanyahu. And other really like him. Other really, you know, still support him. So to me, I just think that we need to put first our unity. Because if we don't gonna have a unity, we're not gonna get anywhere.
Thank you. Did you have a follow-up on that, or?
It sounds very familiar, what is happening right here, so do you feel yes, like you're reliving what went on with even a little less power on your behalf?
Oh yeah, for sure. Only from what I hear, you know, I can't really vote in here. But yeah, it sounds very familiar.
Oh, yeah. There's a Yiddish phrase for that. Agas para, whoever knows Yiddish, I'm sorry.
You don't know?
Agas para a mile, then ois para a mile. Yes, for a while, see the mile. Maybe you get a different perspective. Surely now I think you get it.
No, actually, that's what I wanted to ask you, how, the vice of, Netanyahu has.
Can't be prevented.
You're asking the same question.
Well, about what people think of what he's doing right now, what do the Israelis think about Netanyahu, think about what he's done and what he's doing? He's nicely allowed from.
I think he wished to be Trump, but that's for another day. No, but I think, honestly, I just think that some people support him no matter what. You know, it's kind of like a blind support. And something otherwise, something that it's his time to go home. Yeah. Do you have a nicer way to say it? Pretty sure you do, right?
Any other questions, like a really nice one?
One more, I just have one more. What about the ultra Orthodox men? Are they going to be serving in the service?
Sure. What about the ultra Orthodox men in Israel? Are they going to serve in the army? My answer is that I wish, because it is very hard for the wives back home and our men to know that, you know, the responsibility of protecting our tiny precious land is not equally divided, and hopefully it will change. I think we have another question there. ככה הרבה זמן.
78 years. So.
Very concerning to me when I hear people say that the Orthodox community is not involved in that in Israel.
Yeah.
Because I have a very large family, Orthodox family, and every one of my nephews and great nephews fought and is still fighting.
Thank you so much for your note. And so thank you so much for saying that, because I forgot to mention, and obviously we're not talking about every ultra-Orthodox person in Israel, right? It's a specific group of people who are very, very extremist, and it's never, I mean, it's never for everyone. It's not the case. As I said about Netanyahu, some love him, some don't. So it's the same with the ultra-Orthodox community. Some serve and some not.
I can tell you, we have a son very related to the days our league, and he feels very strongly that their study contributes to the safety of Israel. I'm not saying I agree with this, but strongly feel that what they're doing is as legitimate, as important to Israel's survival and continuing as what's going on in the military. And
You want to comment on that? I'm the rabbi here, it's your show. I think before you comment, any other questions, if not, we'll do like one or two left, and then we'll make sure everyone, any other questions? You have a question, okay? Just want to.
Yeah, I can. No, for sure. I think, I think we're just wondering, why can it be both? I think when you really like to do something, you can always find the time, but I really don't want to like step into someone's world and decide what's best for him. I just think that because of the situation and because we exist 77 years, and yeah, we fought many years of that, but maybe we can see that as a limited period of time where we need to make it an extreme effort, and then we can all go back and live life.
I just wanted to say, the organizations that are here in America, they need to really figure out how to stand up and let people know that we do not approve of the behavior of, the Hamas. I cannot believe that it turned out the next day. But yes, it has turned out the next day. Just the media that started to think
Yeah.
Israel, obviously, every student able to handle it. I don't know what you think about it, but.
You're part of the solution.
Yeah.
Any other last questions?
One question, is Tal a big name in Israel?
Yes, definitely. My husband's name is one of the most common names in Israel.
My granddaughter's name is Tal.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Mother's
If anyone does have any more questions, I am sure that Sapir would love to take them on the side, but again, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We wish you luck on our and thank you for what you do for our community.
Thank you for the Levertov for everything they do. I think this is like,
Thank you. Again, thank you very much, each of you who joined. There are a lot of upcoming events that we'd love to see you at. And again, if you do have a question for us up here, and you didn't ask it today, you can still ask it.
Hello.
If not, preparation of the year for conference.
שנה וחודשיים, ויש עוד שנה או יותר.
Another debate on Jewish study versus Army. Join us for the discussion with our rabbi and ask that question. I'm sure all the opinions on it. We're not being neutral, it's as old as Judaism. Again, thank you so much.
אני מקשיבה איתך.